So this is a video about where the cabal, the predatory elites, where they sit philosophically. I've had this question a few times, like, how do people do this? Okay. And I know I did a video about them being narcissistic, so they lack empathy. But the people that run this matrix, right, the military industrial complex, the puppet masters, are Freemason, right? And Freemasonry comes from Kabbalah, right? Now, essentially, I'm just going to cut to all great spiritual philosophies speak of non-duality. Like, I love Zen and the Tao, where it's this kind of experience of coming to see ourselves, the light and the dark in ourselves, accepting all of it, and not moralizing any side. So I love this about my Zen teacher, master, Father Amasami. If I was angry in the ashram because I'd been meditating so long and like all this stuff was coming up in me and I was just like in a mood, this is Father Amasami's face. If I was in a happy, still place on any given day, calm in myself, this was Father Amasami's face. Same face. And he didn't moralize any aspect of arising nature. So the Buddhic way, the Zen way, the way of the Tao is to not moralize nature, especially, well, in ourselves first, because when we stop moralizing how we're feeling, then we can actually, the feeling can then move through properly. It's when we moralize the feeling that acts of suppression occur. Okay, so the feeling stays suppressed and locked in the psyche. So the act of not moralizing difficult aspects of ourselves is what allows us to fully integrate those aspects. Okay. And this is ultimately what Kabbalah is as well. It's a system of wisdom where you learn to work with your own nature and be a witness to yourself. Right? So when we stop moralizing ourselves, we stop moralizing other people. You know, if somebody's in their anger or in some kind of expression that's difficult, it's got nothing to do with me, and I'm not going to sit here and go, that's bad. Because I know how important allowing my own feelings is, and I know that it's a part of a process that amounts to an integration of something. Right? So people who moralize difficult emotions or raw, rugged expressions are in a kindergarten understanding of the nature of spirituality and the nature of the world. Okay, that's very Abrahamic. Whether you're Abrahamic or not, I know a lot of people who don't even like religion, light and love kind of people, yet they moralize rugged, raw, primordial expression, right? So the essence of spirituality, true spirituality, is allowing that in ourselves and just witnessing other people in their own expression and just, this is my face when somebody's like having a tantrum, and this is my face when somebody's calm and happy. Same face. Okay. It's the separation of mother from father, light from dark, that has made us moralize and deem the light higher or more superior than the dark. Okay. Now, holding that philosophically, in Freemasonry, it's the same philosophy, but they've gone further with it. So this philosophy in the hands of somebody who feels empathy is, I guess, safe for other people, right? I understand this philosophy. I've embodied it in myself, yet I have an empathetic heart, and I am for humanity. But this philosophy in the hands of people that don't have empathy, right? Because just like we have predators in nature, we have people that are conditioned through trauma to lose empathy, right? So they become narcissistic. And the narcissist who doesn't have empathy sees other people as aspects to extract from. They don't feel anything about doing that, right? So they're in a very base aspect of themselves, just like the predator takes a prey. And when I see a lion take a buck, I'm like, whoa, that's hectic, but I'm not moralizing it. So this philosophy in the hands of the Zionistic, Freemasonry, Kabbalistic cabal has gone to the nth degree. And they're like, well, if there's no moralization between light and dark. You see the black and white flooring in Freemason temples, right? Black and white. There's no moralization of light and dark. Black is white, white is black. Everything is as it is, should be. All is being animated by the same life force. The predator kills the buck. The predator is God. The buck is God, right? The 10,000 faces. All of this is animated by the same consciousness. Even the difficult, decaying, predatory parts. So for them, they're quite comfortable with being the predator, philosophically. So although we see Christian Zionists, for example, supporting genocide, they are doing that because they're locked in kindergarten thinking. They still believe in God and the devil, black and white. You know, they're inside a myth that they believe is literal, and so they are being manipulated. They're kindergarten in their brains, right? So this sort of Freemasonry cabal that does understand the philosophy knows that they're using fundamentalist Christians. They know that these Christians are kindergarten. And they're like, well, you want to be that dumb. You want to be easy prey. I'm the predator. I'm comfortable with being the predator. So there you go. I'm going to manipulate you because you're an idiot. Okay. Same with any kind of Judaic orthodoxy, Zionist Jewish orthodoxy, right? Where they're so vehement about their text and their book and the Messiah coming, they must build third temple, and they're also locked inside some kind of story. For the Zionistic cabal, that they follow Jewish Kabbalah, but Jewish Kabbalah is very different from Orthodox Judaism, right? And they're as well going, well, you want to be so locked into a myth, into a belief, be so hungry for third temple? Well, yeah, we'll use you as well to be the predator. We'll use anybody who's in a kindergarten frame of mind, believing myths to be literal, whatever it may be, any kind of cultural myth, be it a religious myth. They just use whatever. They're like, if you are so deep in the illusion of your own identification of religion, wealth, like we'll make people hungry for wealth and money and lock them into the system in that way, in whatever way. They're like, whatever idiocy you're in, whatever identification you're in, we're going to use that. Right? So they are sitting there, and because they've identified that all is life, light and dark, and they happen to have unempathetic souls, they were created that way, they don't feel anything about manipulating people and extracting from the earth, being the colonizing entity that takes. They don't feel anything. And to them, philosophically, they're like, well, I am God too. If there is no moralization, if everything is the Tao, which it is, to me, that's the healthy way to live. In the middle way, Jesus is crucified between the good criminal and the bad criminal, right? Good guy and bad guy. He's crucified in between. So that's a mythical, symbolic representation of we come into the I am when we stop moralizing the good guy and the bad guy. We come into the middle way. It's in all Eastern philosophy. It's the bedrock of all mysticism, right? So the cabal has taken that, and they've gone even further with their justification. They're like, well, if that be so, then I'll just play the role of the predator, and I won't moralize that. I'm quite comfortable with being the predator, and yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing. We're going to be the predatory force, the thing in the world that extracts and pushes and pushes and pushes, and people that fall prey to it, and it's going to be also the thing that actually makes some people, they get so pushed by it that they break open into their own realization, right? Now, do we need this predatory system in the first place in order to have a realization and to appreciate the reality of the Garden of Eden? They've created a false matrix, but the Garden of Eden is all around us. Do we need that system in order to appreciate or have an awakening? I don't think so. No. But it's just the way it is. It's what has emerged. Nothing emerges outside of the Creator. Nothing is outside of the Creator. I have this conversation with my fundamentalist Christian father, and he's like, he still frames like things as the devil and God, you know, like as if there's a dark force fighting God. But I'm like, but all you know that God is all powerful, Brahman, everything is inside the Creator, right? Yes, well then God created Satan. Yeah, God created Satan, but Satan's also, you know, and I understand this you know, the strange dichotomy of what it is to be alive and to cope with the aspects of the decay or darkness of nature, ignorance of nature. Satan is ignorance. Evil is just ignorance. So yeah, it's ultimately, you know, at the in that sort of deep Freemasonry thinking, it's that, you know, and some people can learn Kabbalah and they have empathy, so they understand the middle way and they sit in that space like Yeshua without wanting to destroy or damage or hurt or extract from people. And some people learn the middle way and they find that internal power and they don't have empathy, and they're like, well, if dark is God and light is God, well, I have no empathy, and yeah, I think I'll be part of the dark team, you know. So it's a tough pill to swallow, but yeah, that's ultimately what's going on. And people that are like radicalized and following the system, be that people who are radicalized for their political party, radicalized for their religion, radicalized for their class status, radicalized for whatever identification they have about themselves, they're just being used by the Masons at the top. The Masons are the master builders, and they're like, okay, cool, yeah, you're going to be that dumb, we're going to use you. And they're quite comfortable with doing that. Like I said, they're quite comfortable with being the predator. They've made peace with that because they don't have empathy. Yeah, so that's a little bit more on the nature of the system.